Hi, Happy New Year. 2020, what a year that was. It's safe to say that 2020 affected all of our lives in one way or another. 2020 was the year that forced us into lockdowns and forced us to work from home, and unfortunately it was the year where so many of us, especially in this industry, lost our work. Working for a company, working for an agency, working for some sort of video production company became unfeasible. As we were not allowed to work, we had to work from home. Video production companies all over the country shut down, and that forced creatives into unemployment, and therefore that left a lot of questions. Now, the benefit of all of this is it does mean that so many creatives are now turning their eye into freelancing. They can't get the work from companies, so they're trying to create new opportunities and a new career by choosing a path through self-employment. And that is the silver lining of last year. Being a freelance photographer or videographer is amazing in so many different ways. You get to choose your work, you get to choose the hours that you work, you get to choose everything. You have complete freedom of when you work and who you work with. But there are some difficulties when being freelance compared to working for a company. So if you lost your job in 2020 and you're becoming self-employed, or if you're starting this journey as self-employed and you think self-employed is the right route for you, then this video is for you, because I'm going to be sharing some tips and advice to help you get paid and get work. So stick around and listen to these top tips. So just know, when you're self-employed, 9 to 5 does not exist. Be prepared to work almost every single hour of the day. And that's especially true if you're just starting out. If you're just starting out and you're trying to build a network, then it's really important that you're putting in the work to try and get a career in this industry. So yes, some days you might work more than the 8 hours that you traditionally work in an office. You might be working from 6 a.m. all the way up until midnight, or you could just have a short day if there's not a lot going on. But just be prepared to work weird and random hours. You'll have short days, you'll have long days, but just know that a fixed day consisting of 9 to 5 doesn't really exist in a freelance career. My next tip, if you're self-employed, is to get a business bank account. Now, the reason why I've put this up front at the top of the video is because it is extremely important. As a self-employed creator, you have to pay tax if you're earning enough money to pay tax. And this means you need to keep track of what you're earning, what you're spending, and how much you owe to the government. So it's really important to get a business bank card and put all of your business transactions through there, because you can figure out what you've earned and what you've spent. There's so many different expenses that can be classed as a business expense. Your train fare to your video shoot, that is a business expense, and you can deduct that from your tax bill. You've got food. Obviously, if you weren't there filming, then you wouldn't be buying that food on the day. So this is a business expense and that can be deducted. Get paid into that account and pay everything related to the business with that card, because you've got everything there in one list and you're not getting anything confused between your personal transactions. Now, my next thing to point out is that if you get sick and you can't work for any reason, unfortunately, you don't have that same safety net as you would do if you worked for a company. There's no such thing as sick pay if you're working for yourself. So there will be some times, unfortunately, when you're ill and you have to cancel a shoot. Unfortunately, you're going to have to miss being paid. So try and reorganize shoots for a future date so you know you've got that money coming in. Now, my next tip comes down to your reputation. If you are self-employed, you are your business. Your reputation is what gets you work. So it's really important that you look after your representation in your business life and your personal life. So this means if you're posting hateful tweets on Twitter, or if you're posting rude photos on Instagram, unfortunately, this is a reflection of you and therefore a reflection of your business, and this may affect clients wanting to work with you. So just be aware that you are your business and your representation is super important. So never post anything online that shouldn't be posted to online. And whenever you're talking to clients, you're with clients, or you're around clients, be the best version of yourself that you can be. Don't be rude, don't be a horrible person, be really nice and be really genuine and be lovely to work with, because this is really going to help clients come back to you and book you for a future shoot. Being talented is really important. It's important that you have skills as a filmmaker, but what's more important than being talented is being a good person. Nobody likes to work with bad people and rude people, so be a lovely person, and I promise you that's going to go a long way in your career. My next tip is to always keep learning. Just because you're a freelancer and you're a professional doesn't mean that you know everything. It's really important to not only focus on client work and making sure all the client videos are ready and produced and exported and sent over to them on perfect time. It's also really important that you keep learning as a creator. So whether that means regularly watching YouTube videos, practicing new skills, practicing different editing effects, it's up to you to keep improving as a creator, because the more you know, the more valuable you become. And the more skills that you have means you have a higher earning potential. And obviously, the more you earn, the more you can put back into your business to grow the business. And this is just going to help things grow and take that to the next level. So this is probably one of the most important tips. Yes, take care of client work, do all of the work involved in the business, but also keep learning. You're never going to stop learning in this creative industry. So just keep practicing, keep learning, and keep experimenting. Now, my next tip comes back to finances, and that is to make sure that you're always putting money aside for your taxes, and always make sure you're putting money aside to pay yourself. So first of all, make sure you're earning enough to cover all of your bills. So if you spend £600 a month on rent, for example, put that money aside and make sure that you get paid what you need to get paid in order to stay alive. And then of course, it's always really important to take note of your tax, your national insurance, and any student loan repayments that you may have. Make sure you're putting this money aside every time you get paid. Take a percentage of your money and put it in a separate account, because there is nothing more stressful than submitting your tax return in January and finding out you owe £5,000, £10,000, £15,000 and you've spent it. So keep building that in a separate account, because you're really going to need that at a later date. And you'll probably find yourself in a position regretting it and wishing that you had saved money when you get hit with that surprise bill. Talking about money, this also brings me on to my next tip. Make sure you're charging a sensible rate. The problem with a lot of freelancers is they either completely undercharge or they go the opposite way and they completely overcharge. So find a comfortable number and make sure that what you're charging is a comfortable and sensible number that is honoring your skills and talent as a filmmaker, but isn't really taking the mick. I have to admit, this is a very difficult balance to find. I often think to myself, am I undercharging? Am I overcharging? I constantly get clients saying I'm worth more than what I ask for. So always have that conversation with you. You never have just one rate. Keep consistently changing your rate and balancing your rate to make sure that it fits and works for your clients. And of course, if some clients can't quite afford your rate, feel free to be a little bit flexible, but never bend over backwards for a client and undercharge them that much that you end up being at a loss. Yes, this is a creative and fun industry to be involved in. And yes, as creators, we love to make videos, but if this is your career, if you're paying your rent and your mortgage or anything with this career, it's also really important that you're getting paid what you owe. Keeping on that same line of payments, it's also really important that you take deposits and you make people sign contracts. Believe me, it's happened to me before, and I spoke to so many other video creators and it's happened to them as well. But make sure that you get your client to sign a contract confirming what they're going to pay you, and also get them to pay a good gesture or a goodwill deposit up front. So this could be 10%, 20%, whatever it is. Make sure they pay you before you commit to the video shoot. It's also really important to note as well that you shouldn't really deliver the final video to the client until they have paid the money. If they've signed a contract, there's a little bit more flexibility there, but I would still recommend holding back the video until payment has cleared, especially in the beginning stages of a freelance career, because so many people take advantage of new freelance creators. When you're new to this industry, people can smell that and people can sense that, so they often take advantage of people that are new to the creative industry. So just stand your ground, make sure you get paid what you're owed, and just protect yourself and your business financially. So with all of that in mind, the one question that probably is in your mind right now is, yes, that's great. Yes, I will look after myself. I will look after myself financially. I'll make sure I'm paid. I'll make sure I'm a nice person. But the problem is, how do I get these jobs? It's really important that you're constantly filming, editing, and sharing what you're creating on social media and on your website. If you never showcase your work, then unfortunately, no one will ever know that you're a creator. No one will see what you're creating. No one will know that you're creating. So it's really important that you have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, Vimeo, your own website. Make sure you're creating content and sharing content to all of these different platforms. And of course, you can always put money into targeted local advertising. So advertising is really clever because you can specifically target who you want to target and where they are in the world. So if you're a creator in England, you can target people in the immediate area within a specific age range who have searched for specific search terms. So that means your advertising is going to hit people and potentially turn them into customers. The problem with advertising though is you can put a lot of money into it before you get a bite back. So don't throw all of your money into advertising, because sometimes it's not super effective, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. My recommendation would be to just keep creating content. Even if you're not working with clients, just go out and make videos on your own accord and go ahead and share those to your social media. And I promise you, if you keep creating content and sharing it and it's good enough, it will start to get recommended to people online, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, and people are going to find out about you. I've got to the point in my career now where most of the people that I work with, most of my clients either know me or have heard about me from somebody who has worked with me. It's kind of like a weird spider web in a way. I've worked with this person knows that person, this person knows this person knows this person. And before I realized, I've worked with everybody in that spider web, and it's all come from that one person. So as long as you hit one person and you make a good video and you're a great person and you're constantly happy and bubbly and lovely on set, then I promise you this person is going to recommend to this person who will recommend to this person. And before you know it, you're going to have repeat business coming in. Just keep sharing to socials and keep showing that you're active. Now, I must preface all of this by saying freelancing is difficult. There is no safety net. It's just you out there with your camera against the whole world trying to get money and work. It's especially difficult in the early stages as well if nobody knows what you are and what you're creating. So I would always recommend just creating as much content as you can and sticking with it. I know these are tough times, but patience is always the best thing to do. It's always the best strategy when it comes to freelancing. Don't expect to be on a 60 grand a year salary by next week. It's gonna take some time for people to find out who you are and what you're creating. So stick with it, be patient, and I promise you, as long as you're following all of these tips in this video, then you're going to have a great career as a freelance video creator. And there you go. I hope the advice in this video has helped you in some way or another. And I really do hope you have a great year, and I hope you have a great career in filmmaking and photography. As always, if you need advice on anything specific, then please just leave recommendations and comments in the section below. The whole point of this channel is to help you as a creator. So if you're stuck on something, if you need advice, just leave a comment and I'll either reply to you directly through a comment, or I'll make a video covering it if it needs more detail. So have a great year, keep creating content, and let's get through this together. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video. See you there.